The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
A police chief and a college president on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. We'll tell you more about them later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up and we'll get into all sorts of topics, so stay tuned for that. We have a great show, some great guests, important information coming your way throughout, so I want you to stay with us. Where we want to start though is visiting with a gentleman who we still call the new police chief of Greensboro. He's still fairly new, but he's not new to the area, and he's not new to the police force. We're talking about John Thompson, Chief of Police, City of Greensboro. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I mentioned that you've been around for some time. People think, oh, a new police chief, maybe he came from somewhere. You've been on the job here for a long time, right?
Yeah, I actually came to the Greensboro Police Department in 2003. Prior to that, I was with the Asheboro Police Department for 5 years. So
Right.
I've been in the area for a while.
All right, now you're looking at things from a different perspective. You're heading everything up. You're in charge of everything. What are some of the top priorities you want to focus on?
Well, there's a number of priorities that coming into the position. One, obviously being, unfortunately, an uptick in violent crime that we've seen in our community.
Right.
And a challenge with addressing that is directly related to our staffing challenges. So we're authorized about approximately 700 officers, and we're about 115 officers short.
You're 115 officers short. Of course, that was exacerbated for various reasons, because of the pandemic, because of some of the social issues that were going on and controversies in other states. And maybe we'll get you back sometime and go into those more in depth. But for now, I do want to say something positive. There's nothing positive about homicides, of course, but you know, should people feel good at least about the kind of closure and arrest rate that you guys are doing and clearance rate?
I would say yes and no. I think we have some dedicated detectives that spend countless hours trying to close our homicides, and we've seen historically where I think we're close to being in line with the national average. National average is roughly 60%. We've seen our range from anywhere from 40 to 66% over the last 2 or 3 years.
Right.
But what we want to do is we always have room for improvement, and so we want to be better, and we have a grant that has come in to evaluate our entire shooting process, our entire investigation, from the report all the way through the homicide investigation, with the goal to increase our clearance rates.
You know, now I think folks have read in the newspaper before about you that you've attended and participated in a whole lot of community events and meetings and things like that. What's one or two things you learned from those, from the people?
I'll say probably the most surprising but hopeful thing that I've learned is that the community wants to engage with the police department. They want to work with us. I know in society and in community there's been a level of divisiveness that we see at different levels in government with elected officials, and the community really just said, hey, we recognize violence in our community is not just a police problem, and we want to work with the police department. And so that was really hopeful to me to see that they wanted that.
Absolutely. Now, I think, Carl, somebody sent me an email about something referred to as the Office of Community Safety. Very quickly, what is that?
It is a new office that was just stood up this last year, and they're coming in to partner with us as a police department to really address a lot of issues in the community that historically have fallen on the shoulders of police officers, but we're probably not the best resource for that. So we talk about mental health. You know, the only option folks have when there's a mental health crisis or a family member typically is to call 911 and get a police response.
Yeah.
We now have a co-responder team, so there are crisis counselors paired with police officers that respond to that. We plan to expand that program so there will be a non-police response to mental health crisis.
That's important. That's a great idea, and I hope you'll come back sometime, because the time just flew, and I want to find out about your background and why you wanted to get involved in law enforcement. Will you come back sometime?
Absolutely.
Up on screen, before I forget, Greensboro-nc.gov is the general website for the city, which I hope you will check out, and you can go through the various portals and find out what's going on with the police department. Chief John Thompson. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
Veterans, when you're struggling, soon becomes later, becomes someday, becomes when. Don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Need help buying food? Everyone needs help sometimes. Food Nutrition Services may be able to help you buy food and free up your money for other expenses, such as utilities and medicine. To receive F&S assistance, households must meet income limits. You may be able to get assistance even if you own a home, car, land, property, or have a retirement plan or money in the bank. Second Harvest Food Bank of Northwest North Carolina team members can help you with the application process over the phone. To receive help or if you have any questions, call 336-422-7758.
Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today is now streaming on WFMY Plus, available free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Back now on Triad Today, and spring is upon us, summer is just around the corner, and that means getting out and doing things and being active, and you got to watch out. Don't injure yourself. We're going to talk about that, about injuries, with an expert in the field. Thomas Steele, physician assistant with the Novant Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
Now, I think I've already said it in the introduction, but I'm wondering what are sort of the more common injuries that occur this time of year?
Yeah, so this time of year we see a variety of different injuries. Mainly people are trying to get out and enjoy the warmer weather, especially after a long winter and stuff. So you see a lot of people starting new activities, getting out in the yard, doing more gardening, getting, again, outdoor activities like pickleball, tennis, hiking, walking, stuff like that. So you'll see injuries in elbow injuries like tennis elbow, rotator cuff injuries, knee pain you'll get the ankle sprains, stuff like that.
And people of all ages, I mean, this can befall anybody, right?
Oh yeah, you've seen from pediatric patients all the way to older populations as well. It doesn't, orthopedic injuries don't discriminate.
Yeah, well, yeah. And do you have any advice? I know we could spend an hour on this, but very quickly, do you have any advice for how to avoid some of these injuries?
Yeah, so I think the prevention is key. Obviously, I think to start with, but you can't always plan for the unexpected. So one thing I always say is, being aware of your surroundings. Making sure you're in a safe environment, making sure you have the proper shoe wear, your equipment is all up to date, and then, for those people trying to do new activities, is gradually increase your activity, progress it along, and then listen to your body. If you need to rest, take that rest. Make sure you're eating and drinking plenty of fluids, especially in those hot days.
You mentioned pediatrics a minute ago. Let me circle back on that. Any advice specifically for parents on how to keep their young kids safe?
Yeah, so one thing we always tell for parents is, kids don't like to be injured. They will try their best to kind of fight through injuries and stuff.
Right. I'm fighting through one right now.
There you go. No. Hopefully your mom's watching then. But yeah, so always to keep an eye out for limping or them favoring like a specific body part, like a leg or arm after an injury. And then if they're not able to complete that activity that they really like to do, or you see them limping around, is to kind of bring them in and get that checked out. And then overuse injuries are very common this time of year as well.
You're talking about checking things out. Now, how do I know? Now, this is for any age, not just young kids, but if you think there's an injury, how do I know if I should go see someone like you or go to an orthopedic specialist or go to urgent care? I mean, how do you know?
Yeah, so, first things first is if you have a medical emergency or a life-threatening injury, go to the emergency room. After that I think it just depends on where you're at and what time of day you're trying to get it, but get looked at. But usually your best bet would probably to come to Novant Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, because likely if you go to urgent care, they're great to get you initially evaluated, but you may end up leaving with a referral to come see us.
And send them to you anyway.
Yeah. So
I was going to ask you about referral. Can I just call you in? We're going to put up a website in just a second, but can folks just make an appointment with folks like you? Or
absolutely, you can call and make an appointment. We have same-day appointments available. You can also come into our walk-in clinic for those acute injuries and stuff that you are concerned about, and you can be seen that same day.
I guess before we run out of time, and since you're a first-time visitor, I want to ask you, who or what led you to want to go into healthcare?
I think working with people is, it just being able to help somebody, especially orthopedics, you get to actually see people get better and help them, whether it's with surgery or just without surgery. Obviously, preferably we could do that too, but it's good to see people kind of progress and get better.
Yeah, well, I appreciate what you do, and I just thank you for coming here. Maybe we can get you back sometime.
Absolutely.
And talk more about some of these things. Up on screen, novonthealth.org is the general website. I hope you will check that out and learn all about various topics and take you to various departments and specialties. And to Thomas Steele, thanks for everything you do.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
Are you looking to jumpstart your future in the fast-paced, rapidly growing food industry? In Second Harvest Food Bank's Providence Culinary Training Program, you'll learn the craft and art of cooking, plus business and management skills, science and nutrition, and essential life skills. Providence Culinary Training has helped hundreds of individuals just like you launch successful culinary careers. There's no reason to wait to turn your passion for food into an exciting career. Check out the upcoming class schedule on our website at providencews.org.
Back now on Triad Today, and I'm excited about speaking with this guest. He's a good friend and hasn't been here in a while. We're glad he's back because he's so busy. That's why we can't get him. Dr. Alex Gatewood, he's president of Alamance Community College. Good to see you again, my friend.
Jim, great to see you. It's been a while, and I'm glad to be back.
There's a lot of things going on at Alamance Community College. We can't cover them all. We'll have to get you back a million times to cover them all. But let's focus on a few things. You got a lot of new things coming up. The Biotech Center of Excellence just opened. Tell me about that.
Wow, it's an amazing building, amazing facility, state-of-the-art equipment throughout that facility, the best you will find anywhere in this state and perhaps in this nation. It is a $19.4 million building, 33,000 square feet, and it sits so prominently next to Interstate 8540, and it reaps opportunity. And I just love the building. I'm getting comments from people all over the state and beyond. What is that building? It's a beautiful building. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and a lot of people, the taxpayers will say, hey, how is that funded? And of course, a referendum paid for most of that. That's a done deal. And then you have a lot of equipment expense and lab equipment, stuff like that. Did you engage any partners in the area to cover costs or what? Absolutely
Unbelievable. We set a small goal of raising $5 million for equipment for that building. We raised $7.8 million.
Wow.
And the gifts range from, around $100,000. Some are even smaller than that, up to over $2 million. So it's fantastic. We had one company that gave $1 million.
Wow.
And so people understand the opportunities that that facility and the education and training that we'll provide in it, that we are providing in it, can make in terms of a difference to people here in workforce and economic development.
Get them ready to work and help some of these industries that are coming in and need people that know what to do from day one. Student Services Center, you got a new one of that. That's pretty cool.
Yes, the Student Services Center is what I call a one-stop center. What people don't realize is colleges lose students before they get through the maze, the process of getting enrolled. So we now have everything: admissions, financial aid, the cashier's office, the registrar's office, all in one place. So we can do all the student onboarding in one place on our campus, and then from there, students can get launched to the programs.
You got a lot of things coming up in process. I think you told me off camera something about nursing facility and some others. What's going on?
Oh, biotechnology is moving out of its old space into this brand new building.
Right.
And that creates space for us to expand nursing. So I'm really excited about expanding nursing because the demand for nurses is so high. I speak with our hospital administrator quite frequently, and he is constantly stating the need for more nurses.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're doing. We're going to create space, and increase our nursing program.
Before time gets away from us, any other projects or buildings or facilities or anything you want to, or is it confidential? Anything coming up?
Well, there's some things confidential, some things aren't. I would love to talk about a 4-year college degree that students will be able to get on our campus. That announcement is coming soon, and it's tied to biotechnology, biopharmaceuticals, and those type programs.
Right.
And so that announcement is coming soon. Also, we have a public safety training center that we're building in Green Level, North Carolina. So it will be an economic boost to Green Level, and will provide a space for our basic law enforcement training, basic law enforcement students to get first-class training. I'm so excited about it.
I tell you, there's just so much going on. You have to come back and we'll keep talking about some of these things going on. Up on the screen, though, I want to mention before I don't forget, alamance.cc.edu is the general website, which will take you to all sorts of information about course offerings and all sorts of things at Alamance Community College. Algie Gatewood, President, thanks for being here. Will you come back soon?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back after this.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today, and a very special guest with us to talk about a very special program. Two great friends of mine have brought a special guest of their own. With me, of course, David Daggett, Griff Schuler of Daggett Schuler Attorneys at Law, and they brought their special guest, Jalissa Greer. She's a junior at Reagan High School Career Center. I will not tell you why she's here. I'm going to let Griff tell you that in a second. But first, let me go to David. Tell us briefly, remind folks about Safe Sober, how long it's been around, what the mission is.
Yeah, we're in the 33rd year of the Safe Sober program. 33 years.
Wow.
It is now the largest and longest running privately funded initiative of its type in the United States and probably the world. And the purpose is awareness of the dangers of drugs and alcohol, creating an atmosphere of positive peer pressure for our young people, and putting them on the right track with leadership, guidance, and direction.
All right, Griff, why did you and David bring along Jalissa?
Well, as you know, Jim, one of the hallmarks of the Safe Sober program every year is our T-shirt design program.
Right.
That's open to students. And Jalissa this year was the designer of our Safe Sober T-shirt. She was the winner, and we surprised her just a few days ago in her classroom, and we had the mayor of Winston-Salem there with us, and it was a blast, and she was absolutely stunning.
Yeah,
she's great.
That's great. David, hold up the T-shirt real quickly so we can see. I know she's wearing it.
Yep.
There's a, and we got a close up of that.
And this is cool on the back.
Oh yeah.
You know, Jalissa's name is on the back.
Jim, we've already been to some schools, and I can tell you that the reaction to this design is outstanding.
I love it too. I love it. Now, Jalissa, how did you come up with this design? What's the deal?
It was the second design I came up with, and my first one had a bunch of circles, and so I was thinking to try to do a bunch of different designs, and so the opposite of like circles is like squares.
Right.
And so I did the words first, and then I like try to find ways to like center around them. So then I created the designs of having
It's just great. It's just great. Now, how did you find out about the contest, and why did you want to compete?
My teacher he's like been like the one in charge of it, of like doing the thing. And then I think this year is the first year where the people who can submit designs are strictly from Career Center. And so he had us all do at least a few designs to submit it, and that's how I knew about it.
That's great. That's great. Now, what are your future plans in terms of, first of all, what are you going to do? I think there's some scholarship money or something involved. What are you going to do with that?
A little bit of it will go help towards funding this trip I'm taking in the summer of 2024. I'm going to Japan with the school because they do school trips and stuff, and then the rest is going to be used for college.
Wow, and what college are you thinking about?
I'm gonna do the first 2 years at West Forsyth, and then thinking of transferring to a different school.
So did you always want to be an artist, or when did you get that bug?
I always liked drawing since elementary school, and then in middle school I kind of picked up, and then towards the end I knew I wanted to do something in the art field.
You know, when I was little, I used to draw on the walls. What do you think of that? My parents made me wash it off, too, after I finished.
What a great representative. Yeah.
Isn't she great?
Fabulous?
She's great. Oh, before we run out of time, Griff, how many folks quickly? Was there a lot of people that competed in that?
Yes, and the competition was stiff this year. Jim, I think when we got it narrowed down to the final 3, I think this was really one of the most competitive years we've ever had.
Absolutely. Very quickly, David, why are the T-shirts important?
Well, the T-shirts are important because the students put them on and wear them like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
And that's the positive peer pressure that students react to, respond to, encourage and support each other.
Absolutely. Up on screen, DaggettSchewerLaw.com, or you can call if you need these guys for anything, 724-1234. Also, there's a Safe Sober website to itself, safesober.com. You can get to that information a little quicker. And I just think what you guys are doing for the community is great. Jalissa, I want to congratulate you on a great T-shirt design. I wear an extra small, so if you can get that for me. All right, thanks, everybody. We'll be right back after this.
Every cookie sold in the Girl Scout Cookie Program helps girls learn lifelong lessons in people skills, decision-making, money management, goal setting, and business ethics. It's amazing how much you can learn from a cookie. The Girl Scout Cookie Program. Think outside the box.
Baby, watch me fly. Baby, watch me soar. Baby, watch me fly.
Fly local, fly easy, fly PTI.
Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. Visit the website, come out in the garden. It's beautiful this time of year. You can see all this stuff blooming. We have 3 guys who are blooming right now. On my right, Ogie Overman, he's the left, but he's on the right. Ogie Overman, David Daggett, who was in an earlier segment, talking about Safe Sober program, of course, and Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Guys, Forsyth Tech is still in kind of hot water because a drag queen simulated a lewd act on a student as part of a dance performance during a gay pride event last month. Among those who witnessed the act were underage kids who attended middle college classes at Forsyth Tech. I don't want to get into specifics of it, but in general, should the state legislature ban gay pride and drag queen events at taxpayer-supported schools? Okay.
No, let's don't go there, Jim. That's not even close to necessary. One lewd act, and how lewd was it really? I mean, I've been to gay shows and drag queen shows, and that's kind of part of the deal.
Yeah, but 14-year-olds.
Well.
Yeah. David, you're a parent.
We should go after the lewd act. The lewd act was the problem.
Right.
And that should be the target.
Keith.
I think if you're going to try to ban them, you got to ban everyone. You shouldn't be banning anyone. But I think if someone does something inappropriate, they should be the one who have to suffer the consequences.
All right, speaking of the state legislature, a bill is under consideration that would require high school athletes to play on teams of their birth gender. Would you like to see this bill become law? And will it, Ogie?
I think it's already law in several states.
Several states.
Yeah, again, I think we're going in the wrong direction. I really do.
David.
I think this issue is still evolving. What ticks me off about this is I was in a grade school yesterday. We've got all sorts of issues and problems that we're completely ignoring.
Right.
This one deals with 15 students.
Right.
Let's deal with real problems, not make up problems.
We've got drug problem, violence problems.
Yeah.
Keith, what do you think?
Poverty problems.
I think that you should be in the sport of your gender. I don't think that you can switch over based on physical attributes.
Yeah, especially in
work.
high school and college.
This doesn't work.
All right, meanwhile, the North Carolina House is amending the general statute so that any youth operated sport under the authority of a local government can no longer give awards just for participation. Sponsors of the bill say that trophies should only be awarded based on performance. Now, a lot of people were laughing at this piece of legislation, but I thought for a moment, I'd ask you guys, don't you think kids would be better off if we're not giving trophies just for showing up? Ogie.
Oh, that's one of those political correctness things, self-esteem for kids. I used to coach an adult men's softball team. We went to tournaments all over the place, and some of them gave participation trophies, and we wouldn't even go to those. It's just dumb.
David.
I'm not really in favor of participation trophies, but this is what our legislature is focusing on.
Well, that's why they were laughing about it. Yeah.
Come on.
Keith, what do you think?
I am in favor of participation trophies. We need people to participate. We need people to show up. But I don't think the legislators should get involved in it. But you definitely need people to participate.
But you think that encourages kids, more kids?
Absolutely.
All right, well,
Yeah.
I get it. Last week, the Maryland Attorney General released a report which said that over a period of 80 years, more than 600 children were sexually abused by over 150 clergy, and the Archdiocese routinely covered up the crimes. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is that the names of the accused clergy were redacted from public view. Guys, are you okay with that, or don't you think in cases like this, the public has the right to know the names of alleged sexual predators? Ogie.
Yeah, actually I do. I mean, it's just a sad situation. It's been going on a long, long time, and it's just another stain on the Catholic Church, and it keeps going on and on and on.
David, should we have...
Terrible, terrible situation. But due process applies, and you should be entitled to go through some sort of process before those names are made public. They shouldn't be just made public by somebody's wave of a wand.
Right.
There has to be due process behind it.
Where do you stand, Keith?
Well, the problem is that even after due process, these people are found guilty. They still names aren't being out there. And I think that they should be out there because anybody else's name will be out there once they're found guilty. Anybody else but the clergy is not happening.
Right. A woman named Tricia Cotham, a Democratic state lawmaker, last week changed her party affiliation to Republican, which means North Carolina GOP will now have veto-proof control over state government. Guys, would you like to see a law passed that would prohibit a legislator from switching political parties between elections? Ogie.
No, I don't think you can. I mean, as sad as this situation is, but what we got to do is vote them out. And now, I mean, why aren't there protests down in Raleigh? These other states are doing crazy things, and we're just not doing anything.
David?
No, there shouldn't be a law against it. This situation sounds like a little bit of a crazy situation to me. But
yeah, Keith?
Sounds like she cut a deal. I wonder what she's getting for turning over because nobody's just switching for no reason. Come
Interesting
on.
part.
I think that's where we need to focus.
Interesting point. Finally, researchers at Emory University say that social dancing is better for you than jogging or running. Guys, I'm wondering, I'm going to start with Ogie. When you were at East Carolina as a student, did you dance and hold women tight?
Yes. What do you mean? What kind of question is that?
David, how often do you dance and hold women tight?
In public, rarely. In fact, my office has forbid me to dance in public for fear that it would hurt the brand. But with my wife at home, absolutely.
Yes.
I become twinkle toes.
Yeah, how often do you dance and hold a woman tight?
But you asked the question to Ogie. You said went to East Carolina. He still hold women tight today.
Yeah.
So he's still smiling too.
Let's get that correct.
That's right. He does. We can't do it. We can't do
You're
a
talking
thing.
about East Carolina.
Yeah,
no.
we can't do
today,
a thing. That's
Ogie
right.
still holds women
well,
tight.
that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. A Michigan man who's in charge of the medical marijuana board was just arrested for taking $100,000 in bribes. And a reporter asked him, "So what did you spend that pot money on?" And he said, "Well, a lot of Twinkies, pizza, and ice cream." I don't know what that means. But anyway. All right, for all of us here, Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.